Thank you, Doc. And good afternoon to you all. And thanks for having me. He is saying it's an honor, but I think I'm more than honored to be among wonderful people like you with all the degrees that you can think about. Good. So my name is Philip Ayesu. I'm an entrepreneur because somebody will ask you, what's your profession? I don't have one. I'm a partner and CEO of the Multiple Concepts Group. I don't know those of you who know of the Multiple Concepts Group. Charterhouse, organizers of Ghana Music Award, and most of we're the biggest event company in this country. We have offices in about 5 African countries. Then Multiple Concepts Advertising, which is an advertising agency, is a brand marketing wing of the group. We handle business like Western Union. We are in Ghana, Nigeria, and other countries with them. Zenith Bank, and host of other brands. And then we have the Charterhouse events, of course, Charterhouse Direct, which is an experiential marketing wing. We work for most of the multinationals in this country, from Unilever, MTN, name them. Then we used to have GH1 TV, which has been sold. We started GH1. We actually developed GH1 TV, started it, and we sold it. And I'm sure during the presentation, one of the reasons for selling or getting partners to come on board will come to light, and you can ask questions if you. And then we have Media Edge Digital, which is a content provider and also an online marketing company. I also, like you said, created X-Men. I'm also a limited partner of Daddy Daycare, which is a Montessori, which my wife runs. Then I'm also founder and partner of what you call BMP. It is now called Verdant Zeal. Verdant Zeal is a Nigerian advertising and brand company. So they are the majority shareholders now. So they run it, and I'll explain why. I'm also the creator and writer of the Atungo ad. I don't know if you've heard of Atungo ad on most of the time Joy FM. It's been running for almost 20 years. I started it when I was at Joy FM and been still writing it and creating and producing it to date. I'm a business consultant, a strategist, and I have some education, certificate in marketing. That's what I have, and I'm very proud of it. So the journey, just a quick one. I mean, I started selling at age, I think it was 6, not 8. My dad was a driver in the army. My mother was a petty trader. And so I actually started learning how to sell because of my mom. I used to help her. I came from a family of about 6, and there was no way that we were going to survive without actually helping to get some money into our home. So that got me working from a very early age, 6, 8 years, let's say even 8 years. I sold almost everything that you can think about, from ice water to pushing truck, Vognizer, everything, just name it, apart from drugs. Because there was one thing that did drive me. How do you make money to make sure that at least we survive? And that was it. And I took interest in selling. I did love selling. So in the primary school, like I said, there are times that I go to school, I come back. Before I go to school, I'll have to sell something. Either early morning, you sell some bread, or you sell gari, or you sell, depending on the time, the seasons, or what you have to sell. Or what we call buffrot, early morning for breakfast. Okay, you sell some, and then when I go to school and I come back, around in the afternoon when it's very hot, I will maybe go and sell ice water. So diversification depending on what time of the day it is. And then after the ice water, when the sun is a bit down, that ice water is not really selling, I go to do organizing work with the guys around my area. And so that's how I survived. I didn't do just one thing. I almost did anything or almost everything that can actually make sure that I survive. Then so when I was going to secondaries, for instance, I almost bought everything of mine. What my parents did was just to pay for my school fees. Apart from that, I did everything because I had cash to take care of myself. And so because of that, I really didn't appreciate the value of education that much because I didn't have. I overheard somebody asking for a mentor or a counselor or whatever. I didn't have somebody I could look up to, or friends that we chat, or family members that you can now compare notes and say, okay, this is the level of it, this is value of education, this is what I'm doing. I mean, the circle that I found myself in was a circle full of hustlers. We wanted to survive. So we go out there and we sell. Education was the last thing that we did discuss. The only thing we discussed about education is how was school today, and then we come back, and that was it. So I didn't really appreciate education until, later stage in my life. And then I had my national service with the Human Rights Commission. Then, I was one of the first to work at the Human Rights Commission when it was set up. I worked there as a national service person. So from there, at the national service stage, my mom had a farm, a pineapple farm. She's very hardworking, an entrepreneur for that matter. And she also loves to start new things. So she started a pineapple farm in our village, which I was helping her with. And so what I did was, when it's time for harvest, I go harvest the fruits. I bring it to Accra in a pickup. I supply some restaurants. What is left, I go out there to go and sell by the roadside. Those days, Abeka, La Paz, they used to have a big station there. It's one of the places I used to sell pineapple. So, the restaurants and the hotels, when you serve, you send the fruits, they want the fresh ones. And then the ones that are a bit, I don't know the right word, but doesn't look that fresh. You can't throw it away because it's still fruit that you can use. So I go out there to go and sell it. I had a truck, so I put it on the truck, push it there, and then go and sell. And then with time, I wanted to find out how I can actually improve on that pineapple business by just selling by the roadside and then also supplying hotels and restaurants. I wanted to move it to a stage where I'll be able to do more than just what I was doing. I got in touch with my old boy to help me, and those days, mobile phone was like gold. To have one mobile phone, you have to spend today's, maybe let's say about 100 or 200 Ghana cedis or 300 Ghana cedis just to get a SIM card. So when I did mention it to him, the old boy thought I was mad. There was something wrong with me. That what do you need a mobile phone for? This is a driver in the army who does not really, his level of education is not that high. So he didn't even understand why. He thought I just needed a mobile phone just to get something to go. Those are some of the constraints, and I didn't know where to go and get that amount of money to buy a mobile phone. So that dream of growing the business was actually, it ended abruptly because I couldn't move. I needed cash. I needed some resources to move it. But I had ideas. And then so during my national service, I realized that, look, the Human Rights Commission was not where I was supposed to be. So after national service, they asked me to stay on. I decided to leave, to go and continue with my pineapple farm. Then during pineapple farm business, a friend of mine called me and said, the owner of Joy FM wants to see me. At that time, Joy FM had just started, I think, about some 6 or 7 months. And so I asked him what the reason was. He said he needed some people to work with, and that is why he mentioned my name. And so the guy said he wants to see me. So, okay, I said, fine. So the following morning, I drove straight. I remember I used to have a truck, white bongo, Kia white bongo, that I pack my pineapple in it and then drive it to these places to go and sell. So I was ready for work, loaded my pineapple, went straight to Joy FM with it, and then went to see Mr. Chum. And then when he saw me, the first question he asked me was, can I sell airtime? And I said, I've never sold airtime before, but if it is something that is done, then I'm sure I can also do it. The long and short of it is that he hired me to be a sales executive of Joy FM. What I told him was, I don't have a certificate, I don't have a CV. This is how I come. The only thing I have is my truck pack out. I'm going to sell my pineapple. So if you want me to sell for you, no big, like we will say, no big English. You have to take me as... So I didn't even write an application letter or whatever, because he has heard that this guy knows how to sell. And so he had some belief that, yes, I'll be able to do it. And the rest is history. I turned out to be, if not the best marketing sales executive ever in the history of Joy FM. So from Joy FM, my partner now, who is the CEO of the Multiple Concepts Group, Yali, we were doing things on the side as a radio person, and he being, marketing, full marketing business, was helping him with concepts, with strategies, with ideas. And he approached me one day and said, why don't you come and join me? So that is how come I moved into. So I went there with my sweat equity. I didn't go there to buy shares in the business with cash. It was more of a sweat equity because of what I could bring on board. And that's how I got into the Multiple Concepts Group. And during the Multiple Concepts time, we were able to do a lot of things, set up new companies, new programs, new initiatives, got to other countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, to set up, and we're growing and we keep growing. But you see there's this Quest Marketing Master Seed Academy, which is in black. It was black because it was one of the businesses that I started when I was at Joy FM. I always wanted to do things differently. I always wanted to do new things. And what informs or inspires me, it's solution-based. It is not money-based. Solution-based in the sense that when I come here and I see what is happening, I try to find out how can I help to make things better? How can I help to make things more convenient and more comfortable for all of you? And I know that by the time you do it very well, at the end of the day, if you do it well, definitely you make money out of it. So I do not allow money, because if you allow money to actually be your first motivation, you will never be able to do anything and do it very well. So that is one thing. So Master Seed Academy was a school. We actually started it. I had a partner, but the partnership didn't go well. And that is how we had to just forget about it and eventually started Advocacy, which is now doing well. And then I also had Quest Marketing. I started Quest Marketing when I was actually handling Kingdom Books and Stationery as account manager when I was working with Joy FM. And the man, Mr. Jackson, was a very good friend. So anytime I go to him, I see people come to his place from different offices, different places all over the country. They come, they queue, they come to buy stuff. And I was wondering, why can't we actually supply them where they are? Do they have to come here? So that is what actually inspired me starting Quest Marketing plus other smaller business. And that one too, what happened was I had so many things doing. And this is one thing. Although I had a dream or the intention of starting my own, I also wanted to make sure that I work very well whilst at Joy FM. So I weighed the options and I realized that, look, I can't be in unemployment working for somebody and then have my own and concentrate more on that, because it can happen to me one day. So I decided to just forget about it and concentrate on Joy FM. At the right time, I will be able to move. So that's what happened. So I just decided to kill those dreams, and that's why you see it in black. So quickly, so these are some of the brands that I've been able to build. Daddy Daycare, X-Men, the logo has changed. So please, you see the top bottle, and then the comb is no more there. It's just what you see in the middle, X-Men. And then I have Multiple Concepts. That is on the below that. What you see over there is GH1. It's great because it doesn't belong to us anymore. I've made some money out of it, so I don't have to. And then you have Charterhouse, and then you have Verdant Zeal, which is other marketing advertising agencies I mentioned, the Media Edge, GSM. And there are some other businesses that I have not included here. So, number one, some of the challenges, quickly. Like I said, I'll go through them quickly, and then when it gets to the question and answers, we can expand on them. So one of the challenges that I've come across as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, is getting the right people to hire. I mean, most of the time, we always say that there's unemployment. I believe where I find myself, that's underemployment. I don't know whether that's the right underemployment, meaning that what? There's employment, but you don't have the people. Please help me. You are the scholars, and so as at now, if you come to my company or the other things that I do, I'm looking for people to actually fit into some specific positions. But you see, you will get them, but they get there and they disappoint you. That is the biggest challenge. And then 2, pricing. How to apply or get the right price for your product or your solution or your service. It's always been a challenge because you don't know, okay, where do you start from? You need to break even, you need to make profit, but you also don't want to make abnormal profit, or you don't want to make profit that will also push people away, because there are times that people will try your product or service. The price at the initial stages might be okay for them, but after they try it, second, third time, they don't want to come back again, because then they begin to feel that it is a bit expensive, and especially when they are alternatives. So sometimes you find it very difficult how to price it. Typical example is X-Men. The challenge I had with X-Men was that, look, I want to give my customers or my clients or whatever almost everything that they need as top executives. Comfort, convenience, I mean, just name it. And when you go there, you understand what I'm saying. Then you ask yourself, at what price? Because there's a level that you can go, or there's a threshold or ceiling that you can actually hit when you are barbering or having a manicure or pedicure or whatever. If you come to my place for a manicure or pedicure, and I tell you that manicure is 200 Ghana cedis, I'm sure you shout, and if I don't even take time, maybe give me some sort of blow or whatever and walk away, because I will have wasted your time coming there for me to tell you that a haircut is 200 Ghana cedis. But you see, the services or the infrastructure or the environment also calls for that amount of money. So at that stage, what do? You need to find a way to balance it. So that is some of the challenges. Then also replication, competition. I mean, having people coming in, copying you, like communication center of those days. If you remember, one communication center started, almost every Ghanaian will. Isn't it the same with Galamsey today? Now people are leaving their businesses, bankers, I know very successful business people who have stopped and all going to Galamsey because it's easy way of making money. And that is what we always do. And then also the capacity. Like I said, that capacity is education. I'm sure if I had that level of education or maybe a degree or whatever, I would have done magic. That doesn't mean I regret. If you ask me to come into this world, I'll still come the same way and go through the same experiences, because that is what has built me to become what I am. And so, but I'm just also telling you that there is also that advantage of education when you have it. And then lack of focus. You have too many things at the same time. Like I said, I was doing this, doing that, trying to start this, trying to start. And then by the time you realize, you are not doing anything. So it's important. And then partnership. I call it a double-edged sword. And it's in red for a reason. I mean, it cuts both ways. It cuts good, it cuts bad. But I've always believed that partnership is still the best option. And we will go there. You can ask questions and I will explain. So some of the lessons learned after some of these challenges. My first rule is that never start a business or create a product with a primary objective to make money. Like I said, you always offer solutions first. And when you do that, it helps you create a better product, a better service, or a better business. That is very key, very, very important. And then know what you know and know what you don't know. Most people are ignorant of something, but they will not accept it. You see, sometimes they fail to even realize that they don't know something. And that's very dangerous. But if you know what you know and know what you don't know, what you do is that you seek good advice, good counsel, and you also hire the right people. Because you know exactly who to hire to actually make fill that gap, okay, or that space of that knowledge gap or that knowledge space to fill it for you. But if you do not even accept that I do not know Excel or I do not know how to use PowerPoint or whatever, if this man comes to you and as a PowerPoint guru, you won't even know that this is the right person for you to hire because you think you know everything. And then also you have, most of us here, I'm sure we have more than one dream. Having a dream or idea is one thing. Realizing it is another. But I've always come to appreciate is that you dream and you can let somebody else do the interpretation for you. Then document your ideas. Be quick to have an idea, but slow to launch it. Put the idea to test. Don't get too excited about an idea. When you have an idea, please let it go through some rigorous tests, okay? talk to friends, but be careful of some of the advice that you also get from them, because some of them can be very discouraging. If you don't take time, you will never move on. A typical example is X-Men. When I was starting X-Men, a lot of guys were like, Abayu, what is wrong with you? Just a barber shop, and look at how much money you are spending. If you put that money into this, you get it. See, that is where I was telling you that I was looking at offering solutions. I was not looking at making money. But they were looking at making money. So if it's making money, then why don't you invest this amount of money? At that time, I invested about $200,000 or so. Those days, the CD was not flying like it is today. So it was almost close to the dollar. But still, it's still $200,000. So why do you spend that amount of money on a place like this to just come and barber? That's how they saw it. But I was looking at the complete experience, like doctor said, or a solution for that particular target market. Because it's that market, they don't come out to come and barber, hardly. They have people come to their homes and then to come and barber them. But they have a lot of money and influence. So how do you get them to come out of their homes to come in? And that was a challenge. So with those people, don't think of going to make money from them. Think of how to make them comfortable, make them happy. What are the solutions that you can actually have for them? And you can have all their money at the end of the day. Then have a realistic business plan. Realistic to short, medium, and long-term projections. Most of us have ideas, we have dreams, we have whatever. But when you talk, when you interview somebody or listen to them, you realize that, look, some of your ideas are not realistic. You need to, let's leave moon and come, let's descend here and start being realistic with our ideas, with our budget, with whatever that we want to do. Otherwise, you might think, hey, I want to create something out of this world, but you'll be creating nothing for this world. So please take care of that. And then clearly define your target. Who is the product or the service for? Most of us start a business that we are happy with the product or a service, and then we forget to take along whoever we are creating that product or service for. It happens to most businesses. You see, because you think I have this solution to do this, but as to exactly who that person is, you need to identify that person or that target and then tailor your solution or your product, whatever, to them. Because once you do that, you have a perfect product or service or near perfect product or service. So please, and then do your SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, your strength, identify your strength, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. Your strength and weaknesses are internal, opportunity and threats are external. But then once you know that, you'll be able to know exactly your planning, how to do what, and then when. And then create a niche for yourself. Don't just be like anybody. Like I said, the communication centers and other businesses, everybody want to be like, just to copy. But what will make you stand? There are a lot of, up to now, I still build brands for companies. I built a UT brand. When it was not a bank. Okay? And some of the questions that we did ask, that made them develop some of the product that they developed was, how different are you? Okay? Why would somebody want to come to you and not go to this company? Why would I want to live where I am and come to you? You need to offer something totally different. Okay, so please take note of that. Then you should build your business as a brand. Build your business as a brand. Give it an identity. Let it stand for something. Spend some money on it. A good brand is built through consistent delivery of quality products and services. It's very important, a good brand. And the word here is consistent delivery. Okay, sometimes we start a business very well, product and service, customer service is good. We become complacent because everybody is coming to us. And then that's where the brands start to, tilt or die or whatever. Then, in the branding, I'll quickly run through this. Later on, you can take your time and read about it. You can get stuff on Google. That's the university I attended, Google University. They don't charge anything. All you pay is your internet fee, and you have all the degrees and whatever that you have. So you look out brand essence. Consumers either aren't familiar with your company or they only use it because it is convenient due to location. So somebody wants to just come to you because ordinarily, if they had an alternative, they wouldn't have come to you. Okay? So you need to identify that. Then your awareness, brand awareness, they are familiar with your brand, but then nothing else. That's all. And then your brand preference, consumers prefer your company's products and services over others. When you get to that stage, then you know you are doing something right. And then your brand insistence is consumers are so loyal to your brand that they refuse to use your competitors' product or services. I have a typical example of X-Men, for instance. Most of our clients, we have named them from the governor to what, just name them, they are all there. And most of these people, when they travel outside, they never ever go to any spa until they come back to Ghana. And then when we started to increase our price to a bit, some of them decided to move with some of the barbers that left. But then I said, look, I don't think we've done anything wrong here. Just keep on doing the right thing, and they will come back. And yes, true to my word, they started coming back. Just yesterday, there was this man who is a very big guy. I went through the books and I saw his name. I said, oh, he started coming back again. They said yes. And they said when he came, he said, this time I'm not going to go anywhere again. It's because of the experience that he's had. You understand me? And that is the insistence. It's very important. Then brand advocacy. When these people begin to buy into your product and become loyalists and disciples of your product, you know what they do? They go out there and they sell your product for you. So you don't even advertise anymore. They are the ones. And the best form of advertising is word of mouth. And that same worst form of advertising is the same word of mouth. If somebody goes out right and say, Gimpa Yali program, the one that doctor, useless guys, don't waste your time. You see, to be honest with you, you might think it's just a comment that is part, but it will have serious, on your thought, on your perception, on everything about it. And the next time you see this man, you not even feel like having a very comfortable whatever with him, but for that. So it's very important that you get it right so that those people can sell your brand for you. And then the brand equity, like I said, which is called also value. A good brand can sell anything close to good. Please take note. Most consumers will choose a good product from a known brand over a better product from a less known brand. And that is why if you take a typical product, those is Samsung. What was Samsung doing? It was fridge. Today Samsung has a phone. They were able to transition quickly because of the brand Samsung. Apple, for instance, if you take Apple started with what? Computers, and then when they transitioned to mobile phones, everybody was running after it because they had not even tested it, but they had tested the brand. So they were going to buy the brand and not the product. Okay, so please make sure that you grow your brand and then choose your customers wisely and always deliver on your promise. It is your sure best to guaranteed business. Deliver on your promise. Then, this is how my understanding, based on experiences with building brands and doing business, and that a brand is a promise that is delivered, period. It is not the logo, it is not the color, it is the promise that you deliver that will determine what brand that you have built. Because if somebody goes out there, so that guy has a good brand or he has a bad brand, it's because of the experience that they've had with the brand. So take note of that. Then hire the right people, high qualified people who believe in your dreams. When I started X-Men, I brought somebody from the UK, a lady from the UK, to actually come and manage the business. Do you know why? For simple reason. Because the people or the target market were people that were so exposed. They travel a lot. Their customer service experience is very high. So I brought this lady down just to make sure that I'll be able to engage them at the right level. And it was because she was slanging. It was nice. You come there high. The brofu alone will make you want to know that, yes, you are doing something right. And it did work. Because people come and say, hey, that place, even the manager, the way she is, she's very, and she had a degree in marketing and something else. So she understood how to relate to people. And if you take London, for instance, their customer service experience is totally different from ours. And that is what she brought to be. And to date, is really done some magic. She's gone back, though, but at least it helped shape the place up. So get the right people, pay them well. Invest in your staff to build their capacity. Okay, hire professionals to train them. Don't let the fear of losing your staff to competition or them becoming your competitor stop you from training them. If you do that, you never grow your business. So you just go ahead and do the right thing. Okay, and all other things will fall in place. I had people, when I started X-Men, I always say it, I had 4 or 5 of my barbers who, at some point in time, they realized that a lot of people were coming there because of my marketing, advertising, and building brands background. I did a lot of things that were getting people there, and they thought about we are the ones doing the job, and people are coming to us. So why don't we leave and go and start our own? Okay? When I got to know, you know what I did? I fast-tracked their movement for them. I didn't even wait another. I asked them to leave. Because you see, what I've done is I built a brand that staff will come and revolve around it. The brand will not revolve around the staff. If the brand revolves, the day that your brand starts revolving around your staff, when the staff moves, okay, the pillar that they revolve around is gone, and that you killed your business. So you build your business in such a way that your staff will always come, and the brand will be strong that they will always go around it. Anytime they leave, the brand will still be there. It's very crucial. How you do it is consistently making sure that whatever promise that you've promised people, you deliver it. And then also learn to appreciate your staff, okay? Otherwise, they will depreciate. It's very important. It's just a simple statement, but think about it very well. Build systems and structures for a strong foundation. Have a functional board and respect the board. You listen to our advice, but apply wisdom when making the final decision. It's very important. A lot of people will come to you, they will advise you, they will say this, they will say that, but then you need to apply wisdom. I always say this. I respect people with certificates, with all the nice things, seriously. Professor, doctor, this, but I do not value them until you put the value on yourself. You understand me? Because if I want to value them because of the fact that they have this degree or whatever, then your certificate should be able to work for you. You come, you leave your certificate, and you go home. You understand me? And your certificate should work for you. But the only reason why your certificate cannot work for you is because you are the one who is supposed to actually add value to that certificate that you've gone for. And that's what makes you stand out from the rest. If I'm interviewing all of you to pick one person, and you have the same certificate from the same school, what should make you stand out? It's a human factor. Okay, so I will value you, I will respect you, but I will never value until you put value onto yourself. So it's very important. And that is why you need to always apply wisdom to the knowledge that you have acquired in school. Because it's the only way you become successful. Applying wisdom to knowledge is what I will call success. Okay, and that is why they say some of them are successful, though they all came from the same place. All right, that's the difference. Have the right attitude. Success is all about attitude. The right attitude for everything. Okay, allow professionals to be in control of your books. Keep proper records at a small place. I always use X-Men because it's very small, and so most people who start businesses like this will not do the right thing. They put the right system, right structures in place. But I have all that. Auditors, you have professional accountant who come and do the work. Up to now, you'll not be making serious profit or even any profit at all, breaking even. But what you'll be doing is building a very solid structure that you can actually do anything with it in the future. And like as we speak, the brand X-Men now, we've tried it on products, and it was like the Apple brand or the Samsung brand. That's those who know it. Exactly. We tried with some soap, we tried some cream, and people just bought it. So right now what we're doing is researching into other things. We're going to go into, what do you call it, with shoes, clothes, fashion, whatever. And that is why we're building that brand. So by the time you realize, the core or the primary objective of setting up that business will not be what we'll be doing. It was just to set up a brand that people can identify, can relate with as a top quality brand. So when next time you see a car driving by and say, oh, X-Men, you will not even ask any question because you know this brand talks about or deals in only quality stuff. And that is it. Keep proper records. Love your auditors. Reinvest your profits. Don't spend the profit in the first 3 years. Or to 5 years. A lot of people, when they start making profit, the first thing they do, they buy brand new cars, they do this, they do that. I love cars, okay? I really love cars, but it took me so many years before I even bought a brand new car. And even now, I didn't buy it from the showroom. Somebody brought it from outside. So it's still a home use car, though it had some small kilometers on it, so it's new with rubber and things. But that's what I would say is the only brand new car that I've. Is always buying the home use car so that you keep the money to do other things. So please don't let somebody will go for a loan from the bank. The first thing they will do is go and buy a brand new car, okay, before they even start the project, especially the contractors. You know, they get very huge, big upfront payments, and that is it. So be careful. And don't joke with the banks, what we call other people's money. Other people, it's easy to get it. They will give the loans to you. A lot of companies have collapsed. Friends I know, businesses that I know have collapsed because if I tell you, There are people, they see that we said it's not all that glitters that is good. There are some companies in this country, I know the owners. Look, some of you are richer than them. No, I'm telling you. It's because all they live on, they live on other people's money. Okay? And at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you have no idea. And I'm telling you this from experience. So be careful how you deal with bank loans. And avoid overtrading. I don't know if you know what overtrading is. Okay, overtrading is actually chasing your money, chasing more stuff outside than what you are getting. Literally speaking. Okay, so let's say you want to build your brand. You spend too much money in it over a period than what you're actually making. You understand? And sometimes they do that because of bank loans. So they don't see the difference. But you can take your time. Like I say, you can go to my university. Don't ask for anything. Just Google overtrading and you can read about it. All right. So that is to avoid it. Because a lot of people, sometimes they just want you to feel that, yes, I am this. I am Dr. Obeng. So sometimes you see his advert in newspaper. You hear him on this sponsorship package. You see him here. He will be doing almost everything. And then you ask yourself, what's the real value to all this thing that you're doing? What do you get in return? Okay? So be careful. And then, don't be afraid to fire your best performing staff if you cannot manage them. If their attitude impacts negatively on others and the business. And don't allow them to hold you to ransom. Like I told you, I fired those people. And you know what? The business is still booming and going. And some of them come back. At least one or two came back. And I gave them that opportunity. So please don't be afraid, because sometimes you're afraid that, if I sack this guy, how would I run this business? But like I said, let the business be built on its structures and its foundation and its principles and whatever. And let the people come and learn from that. And then encourage your staff to be successful. Okay? I mean, with me, my staff getting rich doesn't make me poor unless they are stealing from me. Okay? So that's very important. If you see your staff, maybe for all you know, he has some business on the side. When I was at Joy FM, okay, I was the first person in the history of that company to buy a Mercedes-Benz, including even the owner of the company, because I needed it for something. You see, Ghana, we love to, when you see you driving this car, we'll give you business. So me too, I lent it, and then I saved money, and I bought a smiling Benz. Okay, so I bought it, and then, yes, green. Nice car. When you see me drive into your yard those days, and you open your door for me. You understand? Yeah, the big manners. Exactly. So that was it. So I mean, it is very easy. But then people started reporting me to the chief executive or the owner, and they go to and I say, "What are you doing, this man?" And I was also the first person to buy a laptop in the company. Do you know why? Because we had only one computer those days, and marketing executive said we will all queue. So I get to the office very early, like 6 a.m., 6:30, and I have to queue to be able to do my presentation or put my proposal together. And I didn't understand why. So I saved money and bought a laptop for myself, personally. So they went to report me to the finance director and then the CEO. And the CEO was like, "But do you know what this guy does? Have anybody reported that he's stolen money or whatever?" They said no. He said, "So what's your problem?" Because he knows that I have a pineapple, this and on the side that I do. You see, although he didn't know that I have serious deals too that was making me more money in his company. Okay, but nothing of his was lost. His invoices were intact. His payments were intact. So why do you want to bother yourself with me being successful on the side? Okay, and I've learned from that. So I never want to worry unless my books, I have a problem with it. And then also, be careful who you partner. And then remember that most performers they have ambition to start their own business, so take them along, okay? And then be careful who you partner, because I don't care who gets the credit. I mean, there are a lot of things that I do in this country that if I have to tell you, okay, I did this, I did that, but I don't care. Okay, the most important thing is that the job must be done. That's how I see it. So if I'm in a company and you can come to me, I remember when we started GH1, the TV station, the feedback that I was getting was that, oh, this TV station, I hear you are not part of it. I say, yes, it's okay. He said, but you are a partner. I said, but you are telling me I'm not part of it, so what do you want me to say? I won't argue with you. Okay, they want to see you, granting interviews to media houses, coming on TV, me. when you call me anywhere, this man, he did a good job to get me to start doing this. You would never have seen me in here. It took a long time. You never see me anywhere. So, but I don't care. So people say, oh, it is this man who is doing the job. That's fine. Provided at the end of the day, when I go into my accounts, I will see my cash there for the solutions that I offer. That's the most important thing. So please don't think about, I want to be the one to take the credit or to be seen as doing the work. No. And then also don't allow hatred for your a partner to consume you. It takes away something from your level of understanding and wisdom. You know, when you hit somebody, it's just like taking poison and hoping that the person dies. Okay? You take a poison and you hope that the person dies. No, don't do that, because it takes something away from the business itself. And then don't build your business on a political foundation. Okay, that's your core business. Don't build on a political foundation. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. A lot of businesses in this country that when you mention them, I mean, you don't want to hear that brand. Okay, you don't even want to encounter them. You don't want to do business with them. Don't partner politicians. There's a model that you can actually use if you want to do business with politicians, but be careful not to partner them. And then avoid using your company as a deal channel where people will come and they say, oh, Charlie Mamiye, we do this one, do this for me. Okay, when you get the money, come and give it to me. And then, I mean, it's actually a corrupt channel. Be very careful. Never restrict your business to why it was started. You have to keep reinventing keep, exploring, keep getting new things, introducing them, restructure the company if you have an issue with it. But then the only way you can do that is when you constantly go out there and find out what my target needs or what they want or what they're asking for. It's important. And then reposition yourself for relevance. A lot of companies in this world, if you take who knows Maxell cassette? They used to make cassette. They were one of the top cassette manufacturers in this. Yes, radio cassette. Oh, you don't know radio cassette? Okay, we don't. And then you have even the IBMs, even the IBMs. Okay, right now IBM has moved into other solutions or what, because they are no more doing core computer production or what, because they have to reposition it. If you take Nokia, for instance, they slept. Okay, there are a lot of them. Some of them are actually extinct. The brand does not even exist because of technology these days. Okay, so look, you know Sony Walkman. You remember Sony Walkman? We have the cassette. So you need to always make sure that you reposition yourself for relevance. Create other products or services, and then legal discipline. I mean, we have the lawyer here who will be coming in some few minutes. She will expand on that. Where you are a director of a company, you should acquaint yourself with the limitations imposed by law. Okay? It's important. Ensure that all the statutory books and records are maintained. It may be prudent to have training, from maybe your company secretary or their secretaries or other legal, organizations that help. Her organization, for instance, they help with legal training. And then also make sure you file your annual returns is important. Where you are able to have an AGM, file the necessary returns. Your lawyers can help you. And then don't hang on. I love to sell. I believe that 30% of 100 is more than 100% of 20. Okay, and that is why we like the TV station and other businesses that I've sold. You can ask questions when we get there. And never allow ego to influence your decision. Never, ever allow ego to influence your decision. There are sometimes that there are people that when they discover themselves, they forget who they are. Okay? This is how I put it. Whenever you discover it, never forget who you are. You see, discovering yourself is, let's say me, when I used to push trucks and whatever, I didn't know I'll be with you today. So if I'm here, it means maybe I've discovered, I'm still discovering. Okay? But even in the phase of discovering, never forget where you are coming from or who you are. Because that is what has actually guided you to be where you are. So it's very important, very crucial. And then take risk, never give up, take calculated risk, do not gamble. There's a difference between risk and gambling. Risk is something that you can measure, depending. Gambling is luck. You see what? That's cha-cha pure. You just say, hey, A, B, you are not sure of exactly where the pendulum will swing. Get it right, put the customer first. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of failure. I mean, with me, for instance, it's actually the fear of failure is what energizes me to actually wake up and do new things and be wanting to do, bigger things. That is it. Learn from the best to minimize your risk as entrepreneurs. It's important. And be a problem solver. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Don't be a money chaser. Okay? It's important. And then, your family and business. Are you building it as a family business? Will your children inherit the business? These are questions you'll be asking yourself. Do they understand the business? Are you grooming them like the Indians, the Jews, and the Lebanese do? They groom their children to take up their businesses. We pamper them to destroy our businesses. Okay? So you need to be very careful. If you become critical, sell the business, give them some of the money, and let them just go and do something else. Okay? And then any measures to protect it as a business for generations to come. Do not prepare the future for your children. Prepare them for the future. It's the best you can give to your children if you want to actually give them something, okay? Because what I do is, my children, and I've told them, even experts, when they come, if you take water, you pay for it. Okay? And whatever I take from there, I also pay for it. It's the best way. Let them understand, the value of money and how you come by it. So there are times that I take all of them, we go to the shop, and that's not only even the other businesses. We go there, we go and clean. I just want you to know what you go through to make 10 cedis or 20 cedis. But I know there are some people, when the children they fly them out, they might never even step in the company. They don't even know how things are run over there. Then when they come back, because they have a PhD or whatever, they come managing director or general manager. Within 2-3 years, the company collapses. So be very careful. And then we're almost done. About 2 slides. Your attitude, your gift can take you up, but your character will keep you there. It's important. Then humility, it helps you tap into great minds and open doors. As I stand here, there's nobody that matters in this country that I cannot reach. Okay? But you see, it should not make me just get up and start throwing my weight around or whatever, because I know where I'm coming from. So try to be humble. Integrity, be truthful to yourself, others, and God. That's the only way you can get people to still deal with you at any level. Okay? It's very important. Your confidence, you make mistakes and you still soldier on. But make sure that you learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat them. All right? And then you keep learning, keep thinking, and respect time. It's very important. All right? Recently, I have some partners from the UK. They came. I had a meeting with them. I think it was whatever. Let's say 7 o'clock. I got there around 6:55. They said, you're a different Ghanaian. You understand? And they respect that. It's very important. And time is money. I'm sure I'm even wasting a bit of yours right now. Always think and act differently in the interest of the consumer. It is the best way to sustain real competitive advantage when you think differently. All right? And then the God factor. If you're a Muslim, it's still God. If Christian, whatever it is, there's still God. All right? Because I cannot brag about my love for God, but I know I can boast and brag about, His love for me. Because had it not been for God, I wouldn't have been where I am. So God factor is very crucial in your business. It's very important. He'll always be there for you. Last one, vision might be blurred at early stages like yours. You have vision, you have dreams, you have whatever plans. It might be blurred at least, but once you have sight, okay, with the right focus, your determination, with a positive energy, vision will be clear again. Vision at this stage is like when you wake up early in the morning. You know, when you wake up, you've not washed your face. Sometimes you don't see very clearly. Give yourself like some 5 minutes or so, and you see very clearly. That's how some of these businesses are when you start. But you need to be determined and focused that you want to see and do the right thing. So some of the right thing is go and wash your face. If you wear glasses, make sure you look for your glasses and put it on, and you will see clearly again. All right? And when you discover, like I said, never forget to shape your future. Never allow success to redefine who you are. Never allow success to redefine who you are. Okay? And then this is something that I just picked from my university. Today is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That is why it is called present. You learn from the past. You plan for the future. You live in today. Thank you very much. So if you have questions, we can quickly. I'm sure I'm delaying, lawyer. Yes, sir.
Very inspiring and motivating. I have 2 questions. The first one is on setting price, because from the beginning you mentioned something around price. So I was just wondering, how do you set price for your service, and what factors do you majorly consider before setting the price? That's the first question. Then the second one is, in the midst of so many ideas, because you also shared that experience, and personally I go through that a lot. How do you manage to settle with one particular idea and then start up from there? Thank you.
With the pricing, I think there are some basic factors that you need to consider first when you're setting your price. Your costs. Okay, that is very important. Most of the time, because we want too much profit, we know that our cost is maybe 5 cedis, but we want to add about 10 or 15 cedis profit to it. So let your cost of operation actually be the basis for setting your price. That is because if you don't take that into consideration, you might be setting a price that will be lower than your cost of operation. And if I say cost of operation, the building where you are, if it's a rent, even if it's for you, you still have to apply some cost to it every month. Okay? And then how much is it costing you to actually offer that service, that solution, or that product? You definitely will have your details in place. How much does it cost you at the end of the day? And then when you finish, what profit are you looking at, depending on the target market? If it's the masses, you cannot be making. That is why a Kia, for instance, okay, because of their cost of operation and then the target market, their pricing is at that level. If you take a Rolls Royce, for instance, a Rolls Royce will be manufactured at maybe $100,000. They sell it for $250,000 because it's for a particular target market. So I don't want to use percentages and say apply this percentage to your cost and get your profit. You need to be circumspect. You need to be very careful and understand the market or that in which you operate. One, if I say market in which you operate, take competition, take whatever into consideration, and also your target market. That is very critical. And then the second one was the ideas and how you're able to settle. I think the most important thing is still boils down to the solution. How pressing is that solution, or how? I want the right word. How demanding, okay, is that solution? Okay, if that's the right, because that will determine whether you want to go with providing water or providing alcohol. All right, because if right now, if there's with this galamsey business that is going on, that we are not too sure whether in the next 10 years whether we'll be importing water or not. It will get to a stage you realize that selling Coca-Cola might not be even that lucrative like selling water. So if you have an idea to start a brewery or maybe a juice manufacturing or production company and also water, at that stage, something should be able to help you identify and determine whether you should want to go with A or B. And that could be a factor. Yeah.
Okay, sir. I think you...
So it's not the money. It's a solution, like I said. Yeah.
Okay, when you were discussing the challenges, you missed out the financials. How?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah, the financial. Yeah, exactly.
The second question is, I would like that you expatiate on the marketing strategy, because you mentioned that these people are difficult to bring out of their homes. They prefer to have their haircuts at home. So what strategy did you deploy to bring them out? Yeah.
Okay. Let me take the financials, for instance. And I think I did make mention of when I needed a mobile phone to help me reach people and be able to supply and all that. I didn't have the money. And also sometimes, and it is with our banks, if you go there, they will ask you for collateral that sometimes if you have that collateral, you ask yourself, do you think I'll come here and ask for money from you? You understand me? So it becomes a very difficult series of challenges. So sometimes what you do, you rely on your friends. Sometimes you rely on people who believe in your dream, or you rely on people who want to partner you. There are so different levels of partners. There are some who come to partner you financially. Others come to partner you, with ideas or to manage the business. So try and make sure that but then your last place to go to is the bank. I always try to run away from the banks. Okay? So the financial challenges sometimes can actually make you kill your dream. Okay? But there's a way to go around it. Partnership, going to friends, relying on some network that you are used to, selling your ideas to them, let them buy into it. I mean, there's no one solution. It's just looking at factors at that stage and see which one best you can actually tap into. And then the second one is the marketing strategy. Do I call it marketing strategy? You see, at the end of the day, what I did was to identify who I'm going to actually offer that service to. And who is this person? This person is a chief executive or an MD of a company or maybe a chairman of a board or a politician or whatever. He earns this amount of money. These are the circles that he operates in. When you go to his house, he has very comfortable sofas. He has a bar in his house. He watches his DSTV on big screens. So you know exactly who you are dealing with. So with such person in mind, there's no way I can set up something and go and put, what do you call this OTV with a tube? No, not flat screen. Yeah, you know those old box. Then I'll go and put that box there, and then I'll have some maybe the typical reception chairs and come and put it down for them to come and sit in it. I mean, so you look at it and realize that, okay, this is the person that I'm targeting. This is his lifestyle. This is how he lives his life on daily basis. So what you do is try and create that scene, his office environment, his level of exposure, his home, how he lives at home. So that when he leaves home and he comes to your end, at least you'll be very comfortable because it is almost like home. That is one aspect. And then also what he likes, what he doesn't like. If you have a place like, let's say X-Men, for instance, or let me give you another example. If you go to Kempinski or Moving Peak or any of these 5-star hotels, see the sort of music that they play over there. You never even hear them playing any of the Ghanaian music, and it's not loud. Do you know why? Because the people who come there, they are not that loud. They don't like noise. So you need to identify your target and understand them very well. Once you do that, what you are calling marketing strategy might not be marketing. It's just the understanding of your target. That is what I would say you are referring to. Because marketing strategy is another thing altogether. Okay? But from what the question that you asked me, I think is understanding your target, knowing exactly what they want, and then fashioning out or customizing stuff to suit them. You see, most of the times we spend 100,000 to start a business, and we are afraid to spend 5,000 or 10,000 to advertise it or to build a brand. Okay, that is one big mistake that we all make. Or even look, advertising or branding or marketing is part of your investment in any business. So you need to look at it as an item, okay? An investment item that you need to actually take care of. It's important. So spend money. If you don't have the money, you can go to, and I'm sure when the lawyer comes, she will also advise you. Well, I mean, lawyers, we always run away because we think they are expensive, and that is actually perception. It's like penny wise, pound full. If you go to an advertising agency and say, look, I have a small business, I have a startup business. This is what I have, or this is what I want to achieve. What can you do for me? I'm telling you, there are a lot of agencies that I know who can come to your aid and help you maybe pay for just some third-party cost and some logistic and whatever and help you grow. All right? So get the right people to do the work for you. Yes?
Please, I would like you to throw more light on the invest some of your profits on money market. And
okay.
Also... Yeah, and also I have something I would want to share. The reinvesting in profits. I sell fabrics.
Your profit.
Yeah, your profits. I sell fabrics, and as of now, the number of people that I distribute to are higher than what I have now. I get profits all the time. Yes, and I've reinvested some. But as of now, I'm afraid to move higher because you said we should avoid overtrading. So I'm scared that if I base on the number of people who are coming now to buy more.
That is not overtrading.
That isn't overtrading.
That is expansion.
Okay. And again, I would like to know who this man is who has been able to help you come here? I would like to know if he's a communication strategist or whatever that was able to help.
Who, the doctor?
No. Yeah. Is a doctor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Dr. Aqua. So you know why. He's a doctor. Yeah. All right, so how did he do it? I'll tell you later. But to answer your first question, which is got to do with what do you call it? The investing, what do you call it, on the money market. And you see, there are times that you make money, okay? And some of us make money, you want to buy land. You want to buy properties. You want to buy whatever. And then it will get to a stage that you'll be hard-pressed for cash. And sometimes, you know what you do? You end up selling that house for less than what you bought it for. Okay, so it is not all the time that you go chasing properties, and especially landed properties, just because you have some cash and you want to invest. Of course, it makes you some good money in the long term, but you also need to be liquid as a business person. So you can do those short-term investments or call, account, deposit, whatever. There are so many of them. Talk to a financial person or whatever to advise you what to do. Because let me tell you something. There are times that you even have a property that it will take maybe 6 months or 1 year for somebody to rent it. Sometimes it takes 2 years for somebody to rent it. And there are times that you really need money and you won't get it anywhere. You have to use that house as a collateral to now go and take money. That's about 1/4 of the property that you have over there. And you know what you've done? You've locked 100% of something that you could have actually used to do other things. So it is good to invest in other things, but it's always very important that as an entrepreneur, as a going business person, always make sure you are liquid. Okay? So that you don't play with the banks that often.
Yes, I have the mic.
Have I answered all your questions? Okay,
yes,
great.
I have the mic. Yeah, the X-Men. Right. If not until this session, I never knew Kwame Sefakan is not the owner of X-Men. I always thought he's the owner of X-Men because he's always fun with the brand. And I always promised myself that there was no way I was going to use X-Men if it's for Kwame Sefakan.
Why?
The reason being that as a young boy from SS, he was my mentor. So one day I went to look for him. A friend and myself went to look for him to ask him to give us ideas. After telling us to wait for about 5 hours, when I was having his show, we saw him coming down, then he went back.
He has forgotten.
Then the lady came to tell us that, he said he should tell us that he doesn't deal with small boys. I tell you, this is 2008.
You know what? You see the lawyer over there knows him very well.
Yes.
Kwame is almost like he's one of the most humble of whatever.
And I'm saying
anybody
this,
who have encountered him, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm saying this because
you move on.
I have a friend that I work with now. I actually went there with him. And
you went to where?
We went to see him at Peace FM.
Oh, okay, again.
Yes. Okay. Went to see him at Peace. And in fact, I always thought X-Men belongs to him. So and you also mentioned that sometimes you don't care who takes the glory. So I want to know, in associating personalities with a brand and other misgivings that others may have about the personality, how does that play? How do you match those two?
Very, very important. I'm sure if you mention this Sefakan experience, I mean, you tell 100 people, about 99% or 99 of them will tell you that, I don't believe this. Okay, but things happen. I never know exactly what was happening at that time. But Kwame will not tell you to wait for 5 hours. To start with, that number of hours, how much more to even come down and see you and then pass that comment, okay, saying that I don't deal with small boys. Kwame is one of the few people that I've known. He's almost like a brother, okay, that I've known who live by what I say, that never forget who you are when you discover yourself. He is still as humble as I knew him from day one. Kwame deals with everybody, from the president to the security man at this level, but he never discriminates. Okay, it is not because he's mine, and that's one of the reasons why I actually use him as a brand ambassador. You see, because he fits the brand. He deals with everybody. You get it? So you ask the question. Now back to the question of how do you now find the right brand, personality to fit or to promote your brand. Number one is some of the things that you just said. I don't think I want to identify myself with Ikote. I don't know anybody who knows Ikote very well. It's one of the most arrogant brands that I've ever come across. Okay? I mean, there are some people that, let me give you a typical example. You take your product, you take your service, you look at people that you are targeting, and then you identify which personality to actually speak to them or become the face of the brand. Because when they see that personality, they see your brand. Whatever the personality does affects your brand negatively or positively. You are just telling me that you have sworn never to come to X-Men because your encounter with Sifakai, who you thought, forget about even if he wasn't even the owner or he's the owner or whatever. The fact that he promotes the brand and he's done that to you, you know what? You got angry with the personality and the brand at the same time. So it's very important when identifying personalities to actually help you build your brand. Look for those who fit your target market, who relate to them, who identifies with them, and who can speak with them, and who your target market respects. You understand me? It's very crucial. You see, there are some brands that on the surface, you see them nice and whatever, but behind the scene, they are as rude as anything. They are also there. But the bottom line is, majority of the people see them the way they are, so it's okay. So if I didn't know Kwame personally, I would have believed you to some extent. Okay, but knowing him, I can vouch. I will tell him this. I will take your number. I will tell him this, and he will call you. All right? And he might explain to you maybe what happened. For all you know, the lady didn't even tell him.
Yeah, it might be.
But was afraid that he would get angry. So he would tell it, oh, I don't deal with small. There's no way he will actually say that. I can vouch that anytime, any day. Okay? So that's just...
Oh, yeah.
I saw a hand here.
I have a question. It's in two forms. My question is, among the challenges, what was your biggest challenge?
My biggest?
Yeah, challenge.
My biggest challenge, financial was one. Financial was one of the biggest challenge. Another big challenge is education. You see, but that challenge is also, it's a challenge and at the same time a blessing or an opportunity. Yeah.
Okay, you working at the Joy FM and your pineapple business, how were you able to manage time?
When I started Joy FM, what I did with the pineapple was more of weekends. More of weekends. I mean, the weekday was reserved for where I get my monthly salary, which was a security for me. Yes. All right. Doc, how many minutes?
Hello. All right. Okay. Since you worked with Joy, I want to find out how and what you did for the Joy FM Online to become one of the best online platforms in Ghana today. And also, if you're given an internet radio to market, what best strategy will you use to market an internet radio?
I can. Let me start from the second one. The best strategy for if you give me an internet a radio station is first to identify who my target and what is the objective of that particular station. I mean, that will inform my strategy and all that. So until I understand that, I will not be able to give you a strategy. But to move back to Joy FM's question, I'm actually I was part of the guys who actually started the My Join Online. I mean, those days, internet has just come. But I had a guy called Cyril Heyman. Cyril Heyman was like our Bill Gates at Joy FM marketing and sales team. So he actually, if you go to Joy and talk to Question or whatever, he will mention that name, Cyril Heyman. He was actually the main guy who pushed and started there because he loved the online business. Those days, some of us, all we knew was our Yahoo account, and that was it. Yeah. But we helped in terms of helping market it, of course, because Joy, the station is there already, so it's easy for you to just sell the brand on that. And people, like I said, it's My Joy Online, Joy FM. They know the brand, like that the app, just like the Apple, Samsung example that I gave, and that's what actually pushed the brand. No, not now, not at this stage. I know what you are trying to do later on. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because of time.
I have the mic.
Lawyers charge by an hour. I beg you. So.
Okay, please.
Yes.
Yes.
and my colleague here also have something to do.
Last two.
Please, you have tackled a sensible point that concern the relationship between between political and entrepreneur. What I have noticed in my country, Togo, if you are not supporter of the
particular party,
that hold the power right now, you cannot go far in your entrepreneurship. So I want you to help us for advising how are we going to manage when we face this situation, because in our country that's the matter.
Okay.
If you are not supporter of that political party, you cannot go far in your entrepreneurship.
I think the most important thing is it starts with this. It starts with the sort of business that you are into. If it's the type of business that you need the government support, or you need government as a what do you call it, or you need to do business with government, then you might have this challenge if you are seen as not belonging here or belonging there. And even that, there's a way to go about it. Why do you want to actually be seen as a supporter of party A or party B? There's a cross to carry for that. Okay, so once you decide to come out and say, I'm for this party or I'm for that party, then you should know that when your party is in power, you enjoy. When your party is not in power, because you've made it obvious to everyone. There are a lot of business people in this country who supports politicians one way or the other, but you never see them anywhere. Okay? There are some that will also want to be seen because they think once they shout and then they are seen, when there's time for them to enjoy, they enjoy also bigger because they were seen. So you just have to be very careful exactly how you want to go about it. But because you can support this party and support this party, and you'll still be in the middle, nobody who will know. Okay? So please be tactful. And also, like I said, it depends on the business that you run. Okay? There are some businesses that the government will need you more than you will need them. You understand me? So when you know what you are also offering, then that also gives you that power or that edge to also do things, either the right way or whatever way that you want to do it, because you are in the position to decide how you want to run your business.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would like to know, where do you draw the line between a realistic idea and a product that is totally different? Because you said that you have to have a realistic idea and you have to have a product that is different. Where do you draw the line? Is it from what people say, or, I don't know, from yourself? You want to have a realistic idea and the product
Product that's different as in a niche, is a niche market or a niche whatever for you, so that you look different from. It's a bit. I think they are two different. They are two different things, because a realistic idea is actually you want to start something. Okay, let me take a typical example in this country. Let's say in Ghana, then you have an idea of, yes, a lot of people are into tourism, and I think I want to start flying people to the moon in Ghana. Okay? And then you start, I'm just giving you a typical example. Okay, in Ghana, I want to start flying people to the moon because I hear there's a lot of opportunities. People can fly from different countries to come here and come and join our trip to the moon and whatever. It will take you maybe another 100 years to get your first trip going. You understand? But if you rather say, yeah, I still want to be in that same business, but I want to fly people from here to Kennedy Space Center, it's very real. It's easy for you to achieve that. No, if I say it's easy for you to achieve that, or it is not impossible to achieve. Let me put it that way. But where we are now, you see, you can achieve it. But are you ready to wait for 100 years to achieve that trip? When Richard Branson's first test was and with him, with all the cash that he had, can you imagine if he didn't have that cash? So that's what I'm saying. You have to be real. You want to start a business, and right now you start and say maybe you actually want to build maybe the fastest car in the world, in Ghana. With our power challenges, there are so many challenges that you go through. That should not stop you from dreaming big. But for now, if you move outside the shores of this country and you go to maybe Kennedy, US, you can now, because you are in that country where almost everything is possible. In America, they tell you almost everything is possible, but not everything is possible in this country. So you need to also then know where you are and know exactly what you want to do. The last one, please.
Okay, so my name is Teg. I'm from Nigeria. My question is, there's always this general saying that you do not need money to start a business or to have a successful business, which of course I've always believed. But for X-Men, it was stated that you had about $200,000 to start. So what's your thoughts? If you did not have that money, would have it been possible to be where you are today?
I think what you need to do is just, like we say, cut your coat according to your size. And not what? Or according to your cloth, exactly. I mean, if you go and buy a 1 yard cloth and you want to sew a 3-piece at Baja with it, you won't sew some short sleeves and shorts and be able to grow. And then gradually, when you have money, you can now buy another. That's the word. Don't forget, I said I was doing pineapple, I was doing stuff also. Those days, I had dreams of even building a hotel. But that money couldn't build a hotel. So what do I have to do? I have to start from somewhere. Okay? So what I started is starting from right now. If I get the money and I set up a hotel, I call it the X-Men Hotel. The brand is already established. The target is known. Target identifies with the brand. They love it. It's easy for me to sell. So I don't want to say start gradual or whatever, but don't run when you have not learned to crawl. Okay? All right. Thank you.